everybody. Welcome to the Angry Geek Show this week. I am your host, Louis Perry. Absent this week is Jamie Dolan, but we got writer, director, producer, the extraordinary Ernest O'Donnell. What's going on, Ernie? How are you doing?
What's up, buddy? I'm good. Hanging here in New Jersey, keeping it real.
Keeping it real. Jersey's. Are you in Red Bank? Are you further out, or where are you?
I'm literally 2 minutes from Red Bank. I'm right on the other side of the bridge. So Red Bank is the town over. Yep.
That's like 3 hours away from me because when I did the show, it was a long drive.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can go to the stash in 2 minutes. So
lucky you. Lucky
yeah.
you. How often do you go there?
Quite often. I mean, I interact with the office, the VSQ office, every once in a while for projects and events that I'm running.
I would never have guessed.
Yeah, and I actually was just over at the stash the other day. I did the Monmouth County Film Festival, and they asked me to present an award, the first inaugural award, the Kevin Smith Directorial Award.
Really?
Yeah, man. So that was a really big honor for me to do, and we got Kevin to do a video, present the award. But after the awards, the founder, Nick, asked me if I would meet those guys at the stash in the morning so we could escort Sinbad through the stash. Because Sinbad did a show at the film festival.
The Sinbad from the 80s.
The Sinbad. And I had no clue at all that Sinbad and his son, Royce, were these huge comic book geeks.
Really?
Oh, dude, it's unreal how much he knows about comics. So I said, you need to talk to Zabzik. So I got him and Mike Zabzik together. We were all hanging out, talking about comics, and he was pitching us these TV shows that he wants to do. And we hung out for probably about an hour and a half. And I said to Mike, this kind of sucks to a degree because Sinbad would have been the perfect guy to have on Comic Book Room.
Oh, yeah, he would have been.
Yeah.
He would have been if he's that much of a geek.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking at comics on the walls and pulling them off. I got to have this. I got to have that. Can you get me this? Can you get me that? So it's a great thing. And we all exchange numbers. And, you know how it works, brother. I mean.
Yeah, I do. That's how you're here today.
Build a network.
You got big. What's that?
Build the network. That's what we do.
Build the network. Exactly. Build the network. You got a lot of stuff cooking. What do we want to talk about first? 100 Acres of Hell, Seventh Day, Gone for the Weekend. What do you want to talk about? I know you have something huge. What do you want?
Yeah, so I got a lot of things on my plate. So I'll talk about what we just did 2 weekends ago, and that was the Clerks 3 reading.
Yeah.
For the First Avenue Playhouse. We did. Originally, we were going to do one night. Kev called me after he saw the post that they were doing a GoFundMe, the First Avenue Playhouse Theater in Atlantic Highlands. Which people don't know is where the original location of all the Clerks auditions were. So that's a special place for Kev. So he heard that they were falling on hard times, so he gave me a shout, and he asked me if I'd put together an event, and he decided that he was going to present the Clerks 3 script that was never going to be read.
Okay.
So we did a Saturday show. It's only an 80-seater, so we sold that out. I posted it at 12 noon, and by 1:50 we sold out. Wow. So in an hour and 50 minutes we sold it out at $100 a pop.
Nice.
Yes, all for the Playhouse. Every dollar goes to the Playhouse. And then he texts me right away, and he goes, "We're doing another show. Put it up." So I went to Eventbrite, boom, 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 got it, did it, put it right up in about 15 minutes, and then 2 hours, the second show sold out. So instantly we were able to raise $16,000 for the Playhouse.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. It makes me feel good to hear when a charitable event skyrockets. Even like Kickstarters with certain friends of ours, when they're having a Kickstarter and their books, we support indie comics. When their Kickstarters are here, and the next thing you know, they're way up there. That makes me feel good, and hearing that is awesome.
Yeah, and then just to put a little bit more icing on the cake, we decided or I said to Kev, if we do a limited edition lobby card like they do on Broadway,
Mm-hmm.
sign it, we'll sell it, and you put a number on it for $50. We had 8 signatures on it, and for $50, that's a steal. When you really think about it, if you go to, when you go to these cons, you're spending $20, $30, $40, $60 a pop for a signature.
Unless when they come and see you, then it's what, 80, 90?
Shit, I wish. I would never. I feel guilty as it is to charge for an autograph. But I was told that you're not allowed to give them away for free, or else the other people would kind of be upset with you. But
yeah, a little bit. But no, you're correct. Yeah, they charge at cons themselves. They do go quite high.
Yeah, they get a little out there. But so we were able to add another. At the moment, we've sold another almost $4,000 or $5,000 in lobby cards. We're just above the $20,000 mark for the Playhouse, and it's great. And Joe, the owner, is just really, he doesn't know what to say at this point. He's shocked at what the generosity of Kevin, and Kevin's fans, of course, are the ultimate. They always step up when we do an event. They really do.
What could the Angry Geeks audience do to help the Playhouse? Is there anything that we can do? We can put it on our website. We could put it on our social media pages. What can we do to help you guys help the Playhouse?
There's still a small amount of lobby cards available. I only printed 200 because I wanted it to be a rare limited edition product, so people could appreciate it. And if they had it, they were the only ones that had it. So there are a few left. I don't know how many exactly, but if they want to get them, they can go to jayandsilentbob.com and get them at that's the Secret Staff site.
Yeah.
They can order them right there, and all the money goes right to the Playhouse.
Now, if they want to donate to the Playhouse, is there a GoFundMe set up for that? Is there a
Joe had a GoFundMe set up. Now I don't know if that's still up and running, but what I had told other people that if they really wanted to donate, they could either call the Playhouse and he would accept the donation, or just if they're in the area, go to the Playhouse, or tell people to go to the Playhouse. We need to revitalize this, because this is a place where people in the entertainment industry that aren't known can really get up there and act and do things, and it's a great spot, and it's a close place to the whole Clerks, View Askew family's heart. So I was amazed by the support of the fans, man. It's crazy.
Cool. Let's take a 2-second break and we'll be right back.
All right, brother.
And we're back with Ernest or Ernie. What do you prefer? I mean, we're not professional here.
My grandfather was Ernest, so everybody knows me as Ernie or OD or EOD. So Ernie is fine.
OD. I kind of like OD, but now Jamie, of course, will make fun of me. We're gonna call you Ernie. That's how I was introduced to you. Call you Ernie. 100 Acres of Hell.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about this, please.
This has been a battle for years. I mean, this was my first real independent movie that I produced, co-starred, and did tons of post work on. I mean, it's almost a year now that we're dealing with the distributor.
Okay.
Get this movie out. And this is my first go at it. And just for all these independent filmmakers out there, you really got to be careful with these guys, because a lot of them are snakes, but not all of them. But you just got to read the fine print, and you got to do everything that they ask for, or else it just takes forever. So it was a learning process for me. I'm going to say that. But at the end of the day, the movie is finally coming out in October.
Okay. I'm going to assume by the title, it's horror.
It is a straight up horror, kind of like in the genre of the 80s style slasher movies.
Sleepaway Camp, stuff like that.
Right. So it's not what you see today with all the heavy gore or the heavy scare factor. I mean, today's horror is really rough in some areas.
And it's not scary.
No, it's not. But back in the 80s, the shit that scared us, Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, Halloween, all that stuff. So it's in the vein of that. But of course, we got you know, we got Big Gene Snitsky, former WWE superstar, and the great Samu. We have in there. Oh yeah. So
Okay, you just blew me away there. But first, before we get into wrestling,
I love wrestling, boy.
really? Oh, we got to talk. We are going to have some fun tonight.
I'm an old school wrestler though. I'm not this new stuff they
No,
got.
so okay, you know what? Our top 5 that we discussed, maybe we'll change it in a second. All right. Why horror for your first solo big gig? Why pick the horror genre? I mean, are you a fan of it? Do you want to do it, or did you look at it and say I can do one and I can do it just as good or better? Why did you pick horror?
Well, for one, I'm a huge horror fan. I've been watching horror all my life. I mean, grew up watching it with Kev and stuff like that. And Halloween is probably one of my favorite horror movies ever. You know,
Okay.
so I was approached by a friend that I knew in high school that I kind of was an acquaintance with. Wasn't really close friends, but you know, we were in the same circles. My buddy Jason Kerner, and he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to co-star in this horror movie. So I said, you know, let me read it, and I read it. I was like, yeah, it sounds interesting. So I read it. I got on board. Then they asked me to sit in on the meeting, and once I sit in on the meeting, I got to feel that these kind of guys were kind of asking a lot of stuff of what I thought. So at that point, then I came on as a producer, and they took advantage of. Not that I have a lot of experience, but I've been around Kevin and other people for about 25, 30 years in the movie business. So I got a gist of kind of what to do and what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of doing a horror movie is can be done really cheap and it can be really effective. And horror movies make money. I mean,
Oh yeah, they do. Practical effects? Are you doing CGI effects? I mean, what kind of all practical, really?
All practical, with the exception, I want to say, of maybe one scene where we couldn't do a practical effect because it was just too much money. So we had our digital guy create a little bit of a blood kind of splat, like they do in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Similar to that, because a lot of their stuff is digital too, with their blood effects.
So it's going to be nationwide release, Amazon release. Oh, let us know.
Yeah, well, right now they haven't told us yet what platform it's hitting first, but obviously we're going to be hitting platforms like, you know, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, video on demand. I would love it if we get on either Showtime or HBO or Stars, things like that. So we're not really particular about where it goes, as long as it starts to get out there and we get a fan base, and then we're gonna go overseas with it, you know, China, Europe, all that kind of stuff, and let it just do its thing. And we have a sequel in the works, so if we get a good response, we're definitely going to go for a sequel. We left it kind of open. You know how you do it.
Yes, I know. Yeah, the hand comes up at the end or something. Yeah, I get that.
We didn't do that, but you know, we got a little twist at the end that maybe.
What is your role in what is your role in it?
I play Morgan Childs. I play kind of the arrogant, little bit of a ass type banker, and I
can see that.
Thank you. Everybody I can play the ass kind of well.
I could definitely see that.
I'll take it.
Gone for the Weekend. What is this? Tell me about this. It sounds like a comedy just by the title. What it is? All right, tell me. Lay it on me.
Gone for the Weekend is a blast. So Gone for the Weekend is currently on Amazon right now.
Yeah.
We released it maybe 2 weeks ago. And it's a straight up comedy, kind of like a classic 80s style comedy. It's a little raunchy. It's got a lot of the 80s metal music in it. I mean, if you're a fan of, let's say, The Bachelor Party, things like that, I mean, it's in the vein of that. A good friend of mine, Troy Burbank Films, who kind of got inspired by Kevin back in the day. They knew each other. So that's how we kind of got the bug. And he just, for hardly no money, and of course, through the independent film genre, you have to rely on favors and favors from people to do stuff. So we got locations, we got rock stars. I mean, we got Chips from Chips Enough is Enough in it. We got the guy from Tesla. We got Mark Wise, the renowned rock photographer who's just photographing Kiss and Alice Cooper the last couple nights. So these are all through favors of people.
Okay.
And it's a funny comedy. I mean, it's I give Troy a lot of props, man. This is like he's made a couple other films before, like smaller ones.
Yep.
He stepped it up in this one and really knocked it out of the park for not spending a lot of money. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with not a lot of money. And he brought me
You're
on.
telling me.
Exactly. He brought me on and asked me if I would do a cameo because
Okay.
you know kind of tough with the SAG stuff. So I said I can do a cameo, but you know we have to keep it kind of blah blah. And then he's like, well, listen, we'll make you a producer. You help me out with the film when I need it in the back end and the logistics and paperwork and all that. I said, all right, I'm on board. So I became a producer, and it's it's a good film. And I don't know if you saw it, but I got Kev to give us a really nice shout out last week about it.
I did. I saw that on your social media page. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That is.
it's awesome, and I've never been up to 16,000 views ever.
Neither have I.
I was like, man, 16,000 views. Oh crap!
What got you into acting? What made that acting bug bite you? What was the appeal? What happened? How did you get involved?
Well, I mean, grammar school. I'll go as far back as grammar school. So I always like, I hate to, when you say you like to dress up, people can take that in the wrong way nowadays. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but we used to.
Well, you know what? Wait, maybe people not in our circles or
Right.
our community.
The
When
community.
when we hear dress up, it's cosplay. You know.
Right. So we used to dress up in certain costumes, do little things at home or little skits, things like that. But then when I got into grammar school, I did a couple little plays. I enjoyed it. Then when I got to Catholic school in the 5th grade, I ran into a friend who became one of my best friends ever, Mike Bellicose and Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm.
We all had a love for Saturday Night Live. So we started doing these little skits and do like the Blues Brothers, and we would do the plays at school, and it just from there we just got the fever. And then once we got to high school, we created a comedy troupe called Skamods, which is kind of where Kevin's Skmod network comes from.
Okay.
Back from the day when me, him, and Belly created the comedy troupe Skamods. And we would do all these kind of skits in high school, all original that Kevin would write in the SNL style. So that was just it. And then when Kevin got huge with Clerks, I was doing some background work then before Clerks. And when Clerks hit, you know how it is. Once you get on those movie sets, it's just you can't go back, man. It's unreal. I just love it. I mean, I'm a carpenter by trade. I've been a carpenter for 30 years. But when I get to step away to do the movies or television or anything like that, it's really great. I mean, I love it. It's an honor to do that stuff. I don't understand anybody who gets mad when they say they spend 16 hours on set. So I caught a glimpse of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to his take on it because, for one, Joaquin is a brilliant actor. I mean, he's really good. And I think he's going to bring a different style to it. So I'm kind of curious and hoping he does because nobody ever thought that anybody could do better than Ledger.
Correct. Speaking of Heath Ledger, I have a theory about the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix coming up. I think now they're saying it has nothing to do with the comics, all this stuff. So what I'm thinking is that it's an origin story of Heath Ledger's Joker.
Ah.
That's what I'm thinking. It's quite possible. I mean, it's quite possible it could be an origin story of that Joker because they're saying it's a Joker origin story. Okay, but if it's an origin story and it has nothing to do with the comics, the only other thing it could be is Heath Ledger's Joker. So I've had this in my head since they started talking about the movie, since they started doing the movie. I am not one for spoilers. I'll watch trailers, but I don't go online and I don't search for anything. But this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it could be an origin story of that Joker. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm pretty excited about that. I hope it comes out. We don't want it to be nice, but we want it, want it to be great. Epic.
Epic. All right, before we wrap up, because I know I wasted enough of your time, we have another passion together. Yeah. Classic professional wrestling. We were going to do the top 5 of the collectibles. We taught up a few things. You brought them up. I didn't bring up any of mine because I would have to look around the room. But let's talk classic matches. What are some of your classic matches? And I'll rebuttal with some of mine.
Well, if I was to say my favorite match, because he was my favorite wrestler, Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Really?
I love Jimmy, man. I mean, I love a lot of others. I mean, him going off the steel cage.
Bob Backlund, Madison Square Garden.
I mean, come on, man. Bob Backlund, the undefeated. I mean, was champion for so long, and Bob doesn't get enough of recognition as he should. I mean, you talk about old wrestling, nobody brings up Bob Backlund. I mean, it's like the old days. He couldn't lose the title. I mean, he was crazy. He was great. I mean, also he was surrounded by, the superstar Billy Graham, which is another one of my favorites, the superstar. I mean, I love superstar Billy Graham. I was a big fan of the Wild Samoans, and I thought they were great. I was later on. I did embrace Hulk Hogan because Hulk just flipped the switch on everything.
He did. I think Hogan. You were talking about Bobby Backlund. Bob Backlund, one of the nicest guys in the world. If you ever meet him, nice guy. They called him the Howdy Doody Champion.
Right.
They did. Not just because he looked like him, but they called him the Howdy Doody Champion. But yet, if you look at his classic promos when he came out to do an interview, he held that championship belt. Always wore a suit, no tie, but he wore that blazer. He wore that collared shirt. And he was a professional. Ric Flair did the same thing.
Yeah, the other one
yeah, but he just took that level and popped it up here. I was so depressed in the late 90s what they did to Bob Backlund when they brought him back as a crazy guy. I hated that. Absolutely hated that.
They're wrong with him. I mean, and then there's other sub characters that most people can't. I mean, like the character like Jimmy Valiant. Boy from New York City. I mean, he's another great character that a lot of people forget about.
Yep, the Boogie Woogie Man.
I mean, great. I mean, there's so many of them. It's just Chief J Strongbow, the Fugees. I mean, George the Animal Steel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just those are the classics. Bruno Sammartino. I mean, come on, man.
11-year champion.
Yeah, I mean, see,
anything past, I would say, any of the, I can't watch it. Anything over 2006, I just cannot watch. The talent is not there. They don't know how to. Independents can work because they're not there. The independents are what classic wrestling was. You watch WWE today, it's just not the same. There's no storytelling.
I tried so hard to hang on, and the only thing that made me hang on was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I thought his whole routine was great, and The Rock, when he started, I liked his routine. But once they started phasing them out and kind of bringing, I hate to say it, but the whole sexual female kind of stuff into it. Not that I have anything against female wrestlers. They are spectacular. I mean, I on the Great Moolah.
Right? Yeah, but that Moolah, you got to look at it this way. Moolah, Trish Stratus,
right?
Wendy Richter,
right?
They are the Molly Holly or Miss Madness, however you want to call it. Those and China, God rest. Those 5 are the last. Lita, we have to throw Lita in there. Those 6 are the last of the real female wrestlers. Today, it's all TNA. they are just not that good. Unless the Japanese female wrestlers, they are classic. But today's, I can't watch it. It's not the same.
No, it's not. But I will say this: I think I think there's starting to flip it back a little bit, the original, because Lair's daughter, who's the champ, I believe.
Yeah, she actually beat Trish last Sunday night at SummerSlam. It's the only match I was interested in. I told my son, he was watching an update. I said, just tell me who won that match.
And the only way I'm interested in that or have any kind of knowledge is because that's Blair's daughter.
Exactly. That's the only reason why. That and Trish. That was it.
It's the Nature Boy. I mean, the Nature Boy is like, I mean, come on. He's one of the best, I mean, ever. I mean, he really is. But
he can cut a promo like no other.
But I mean, Randy Savage, I guess I like him. I didn't like when he really brought in Elizabeth, even though everybody loved Elizabeth. She was classy, but I thought that took away because they started doing more of the soap opera drama when Elizabeth came in, and I liked Randy when he was more raw.
When he was okay, so like the Mid-Atlantic and stuff like that. All right. My top two favorite wrestlers of all time, Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. Say what you want about the Warrior, but he was a living comic book character. Okay. All wrestlers are, but he like personified a superhero.
Everybody thought his head was going to explode every time he did a promo or ran into the ring.
I know.
He had so much energy, he was crazy. No, the Ultimate Warrior was great. I mean, he was a great character. There's so many of them. I mean, it's hard not to. I mean, even the Iron Sheik. I mean, the Iron Sheik. I mean, as much as an idiot he is, his whole routine was great. But I mean, but then I had the pleasure as a kid at 10 years old to meet the man himself, Andre the Giant.
Really?
So it's like, that's probably, again, I was going to mention that match with Hogan and Andre the Giant.
WrestleMania 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, everybody knows, if you're a wrestling fan, knows the condition that Andre was in. We all know that he passed the torch to Hogan and to do it and all that kind of stuff. But
see, it's funny. You said your favorite match was WrestleMania 3, Andre Hogan. My favorite match, WrestleMania 3, Savage Steamboat.
Oh, Steamboat.
Yes.
Yes.
We have a lot in common. Anyway, Ernie, I want to say thank you. What's that?
Let's not forget Roddy Piper.
Oh, no, you can't forget Piper. One of Piper's best matches that I ever thought was against Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8. That was an awesome match. We cannot forget Piper. Piper's Pit was one of the greatest things of all time. Especially when he hit your favorite in the head with a coconut.
Yes, and Jimmy Snuka. And he is the original movie star for the WWE or WWF.
WWF, because he was in Body Slam, the first one. Body Slam with Dirk Bennick, the Tonga Kid, Jimmy Snuka's nephew, and Flair was in that, sitting in the front row watching his match at the end. Because what was Piper's name? Slick Rick.
Yeah, but see, that movie didn't catapult wrestlers per se for movies, but when he did They Live, Piper did They Live. That was like, the movie industry was like, holy crap, these wrestlers, we got something here.
Yep, because he came here to chew bubblegum and to kick ass. One of the most classic lines in all of Hollywood. Ernie, where can we find you on social media so we can pimp your products and pimp you and get you out there and everyone can see all the stuff that you create and produce? Lay it on us, brother, right now.
All you got to do is type in Ernie O'Donnell for Facebook, and I pop up. I just joined Instagram last week.
Really? All right, we're going to have to start following you. I didn't know that. We will start following you.
And I am also on Twitter at EO'Donnell7 on Twitter. So those are the 3 platforms that I'm on right now. And I was told by my good friend Kevin that I need to get on those platforms constantly to get stuff out there and promote and generate, business and get out to the fan base.
That's what you got to do. What did you tell me? You got to build a network. I am Louis Perry. We are the Angry Geeks. We are the only show that has a Wonder Woman. We got her and you don't. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, Ernie.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation, found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.